Hi children, I hope you all are fine. Now we will discuss about chapter 3 queries, forms and reports in OpenOffice Base, that is in the page number 37. In the previous chapter we learned about how to create database and the various operations that you can perform on it, such as how to search for the record, display the records, and in this chapter we will learn about create queries, forms and reports in detail. Now we will discuss about queries. The database that contain a large amount of data, that is in the form of multiple table. The database that contain a large amount of data and is it in the form of a multiple table. If you need to retrieve the information from the table, or you need to add, delete and update the table, this can be easily done by applying queries. So, the database that contain a large number of data that are in the form of multiple tables. And if you need to retrieve the information, from the table, or you need to add, delete and update the table, this can be easily done in Base by applying queries. By applying queries, you can add, delete and update the table and also retrieve the information from the table. A query provides an efficient way to retrieve specific information from the database. A query that is provide an efficient way to retrieve any specific information from the database. If you want to apply a query involving more than one table, then a relationship must exist between them. If you want to apply a query that involving more than one table, then a relationship must exist between them. If you want to apply a query involving more than one table, then a relationship must exist between them. To create queries, we can have two methods. Creating a query. By using any of the following two methods, you can create queries in the base. First is wizard method and the second is design view method. By using any of the following two methods, you can create queries in the base. First is wizard method and the second is design view method. First method is creating a query using wizard. To create a query using wizard, you need to follow the steps. First, open the database from which you want to retrieve the data. So, first step is open the database. First of all, you need to open the database from which you want to retrieve the data. So, first open the database. Then the second step, click the queries in the database pane of the base window, which means you need to click the query object in the database pane, that is in the left hand side, then select and double click. The third step is select and double click the option use wizard to create query in the task pane. From the task pane, you need to select and double click the option use wizard to create queries. That is in the figure 3.1, creating a query using wizard. The first step is open the database, then click the query object that is in the left hand side in the database pane of the base window. Then the third step is select and double click the use wizard to create option in the task pane. In the task pane, you need to select and double click the option use wizard to create queries. That is in the figure 3.1, creating a query using wizard. Then in the fourth step, the query wizard window appears. The query wizard window will appear. The query wizard has the following step. Here the first step is field selection. First step is field selection. In this step, select the table from the tables drop down list. From the drop down list table, you need to select the table. Here example is stud data. In the first step is field selection. In this step, select the table from the tables drop down list. From the tables drop down list, select the table. Here we select the table stood data. Then select the field on which query is to applied from available box. Available field box. Now you need to select the field from the available field box. Here example is roll number, name, marks. Then select the field on which query is to be applied from the available field box. From the available field box, select the field on which query is to apply. Here the example is roll number, names and mark. Then click the next button. That is shown the field selection that is shown in the figure 3.2, selecting fields in query wizard. Here the first step is select the table from the table drop down list, then select the field on which the query is to applied. That is the step 1. Next is sorting order. Step 2 is sorting order. In this step, select the sorting order on the field, like ascending or descending order. In this steps, you need to select the sorting order like ascending or descending order. For example, here select roll number in ascending order. Here we select the roll number in ascending order and click the next button. That is shown in the figure 3.3, selecting the sorting order. Step 2 is sorting order. Sorting order on the field like ascending or descending order. The next step is step 3, search conditions. In this step, select the search condition on the field that is used to retrieve the information from the table, which means you need to select the search condition. You need to select a condition for a field that is used to retrieve the information from the table. If you need to retrieve any information from the table, you need to select a condition for a table. Here example, select the roll number that is equal to 1. Here the example is roll number which is equal to 1. Then click the next button. Step 3, search condition, that is shown in the figure 3.4, selecting search conditions. Step 4 is detail or summary. In this step, select the query type to display the result of the query. To display the result of the query, you need to type or you need to select the query type. Here the fourth step is all about selecting the type of query. Here we need to select the type of query to display the result of the query. Here for example, we selected the detailed query option. Then click the next button. Now it will directly jump to step 7 of the wizard. That is shown in the figure 3.5, selecting the type of query. The step 4 is all about selecting the type of query. Step 5 and 6 is about grouping and grouping conditions. In this step, it will specify whether you want to group a query or not. In the step 5 grouping, it will discuss about whether you want to group a query or not. And in the step 6, that is grouping condition, that it will specify the conditions to group a query. The step 5 and 6 is about whether you want to group a query or not, and also it will specify the conditions to group a query. And the data source must support SQL. The data source support SQL, and these steps will be inactive. Step 7, aliases. It means it give an alternative name to the field. In this step, specify the alias names to the field. Aliases are assigned to give user-friendly names that are displayed in the place of field name. This is an optional, and this specify the aliases names to the field. It will provide or it will give the alternative names to the field. And aliases are assigned to give any user-friendly names. It will give the user-friendly names that it will be displayed in the place of field name. These names will be displayed in the place of field name, and this is optional, and if you wish you can do it and click the next button. Next you need to click the next button. The aliases that is shown in the figure 3.6, assigning aliases to field. Step 8 is overview. Here in this step, enter the name of the query in the name of the query box. Here you need to enter the name of the query. Here you need to type the query name in the name of the query box, and also select how do you want to proceed after creating the query. Here you need to select how do you want to proceed after creating the query and click the finish button. Here in this step, first is you need to type the query name in the name of the query box. Then select how do you want to proceed after creating the query. That is shown in the figure 3.7, specifying name of the query. Then click the finish button. Now the result of the query, it will displayed in the table data view window according to your specified condition. Now the result of the query that will displayed in the table data view window. It will display, the query will be displayed in the table data view window according to your specified condition. That is also shown in the figure 3.8, result of query in table data view. I hope you all understood the session. Have a nice day and thank you.